all the time.
I am going to talk shit about somebody. Instagram. If you go on the web page to share a story from your own post, it doesn't let you.
What do you mean?
Like I tried to take my post from earlier about Moto and reshare it to the Brick Nite story, like on the web page right here.
From the computer, you cannot. Yeah, from the computer, you cannot add stories at all.
Oh, hey, speaking of,
it's a little out there. Do we not have music going on right now? Yikes!
No,
we don't have music.
Terrible.
We were live.
I know we are live. We've been live for like almost a minute.
See, I was just ready to shit talk Instagram, and then
then we can hop into the intro. There's the music, ladies
look
and
at
gentlemen.
that. Oh.
Do we have the music on just specifically for our guests? Because that sounds really nice. Great acoustic. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new episode of Brick Nite. This is episode 5. Yeah, I think it's episode 5. And we've got an awesome show for you tonight. We got a very special guest who will be joining us this evening. And they will be at Brickworld Chicago, joining alongside the 3 of us. I had to make sure I had the right hand up. And not Jake. Jake will have to partake another time. Whenever. The moment that Jenny wants to go on a birthday trip by herself without you, then we can do it.
That'll be the year he gets to go to Chicago.
If she goes for a ladies' birthday trip, which I think is a great idea.
Next year. She likes going on vacation with me.
That's very true. I love that
Despite
for you.
My
I
snoring,
very much love that
likes
for
to
you.
Sleep next to me. It's it's weird.
You and I are
better.
in the same
boat. My snoring is not what it was last August.
I am doing a little bit better. I have a mouthpiece now, so hopefully Galen doesn't have any complaints whenever I sleep. The dude might be drugged out of his mind and just don't even know that I'm snoring, so we'll see what happens.
He might be so wore out that he's just going to pass out too, and you guys won't even notice. You just wake up like, what happened? Lego.
Who knows? Who knows? But no, we are very excited. This is the week before we all meet up in Chicago for Brickworld Chicago. But we do have a very special guest who is waiting in the background for us as we speak. We cannot wait to bring him on. Of course, the Mohawks, I will let y'all introduce who we're going to have on the live, and then Jake will roll that fancy little clip that we love to hear so much.
Well, tonight's guest you might recognize from Lego Masters Season 2. It is our friend Moto. So we'd love to introduce him and bring him on tonight.
Roll it.
Hey!
Hey, everybody. I was too busy dancing to that, too.
Hello, Moto.
No, that's our jam. It's
Hello.
Like,
I'm about to say, did we add that second clip?
No.
No, I could. How do you download? I don't know how to download from YouTube.
Oh, I thought you I figured you'd
screenshot,
flip it, and then just transport it to CapCut and this whatever you need to do.
If you want a specific style of music, just let me know offline, and I can get you a custom track that you'll have all the rights to. Yep.
It was a video.
Cat.
It's like
This is one of them. I can't catch the other one right now. This is
Beerus.
Beerus.
A lot. Wow.
Say hello, Beerus.
He says, I'm out.
No, give me away.
Nope.
And
Oh,
then his sister's running around.
yeah, they're up in one of them's up in the couch.
They're feisty. But I need a new female kitty name. I'm not convinced with my Kitla. It's just so.
I like Jake.
I don't know. It's funny. For a lady?
It's a very good, strong Hebrew name.
I really want to. My brain went to Melina from Mortal Kombat.
Don't mind me. I'm just eating over here since I just got home from work.
Oh man.
How are you all doing tonight?
It's becoming a thing now where every night it's just like I'm gonna have food. I'm pulling a Galen.
You learned valuable tips from him. It worked well.
But I don't have like different dishes like he does because he always has something unique and new. Me, I'm having chicken sandwiches.
It made me hungry. I have to
We
leave
had
now,
McDonald's
guys.
because it's Tuesday night stream night.
Yeah, it's called Quick Fast and in a Hurry. Like,
Oh, this podcast is infamous for talking about food. which we're gonna get this topic out.
What are some of the food related questions that you would have with the deep investigative journalism?
One particular one that's very important.
Jake, what's that question we always ask?
It was Jake. What's that question, buddy?
I don't want to ask that question. What is your favorite type of pie?
Savory or sweet? Which kind?
That's great.
Any of them.
Both?
Sure. So savory it would be a shepherd's pie, and then for sweet it'd be a key lime pie from Key. You have to get it from Key West though.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
a good answer. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one yet. Key lime pie. Would that be a fruit?
Yeah. I love all sorts of pies. I'm like Dean Winchester. I can't resist a pie, but for some reason, key lime pie in Key West was absolutely smashing. It was fantastic.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, no, like I think there was one. I think it was the first episode. I think it was one of the episodes that we had with it was with Corey and tacos, and it started off
It was
with
on
food,
Pie
and
Day.
it just
I don't
kept
remember who
going.
you had.
Pie Day was Wiley
Oh, we
Brothers.
got for my birthday.
Yeah, my favorite pie though is the mathematical pie, 3.141596.
That pie.
Yeah, because I like science, I like math, I like geometry, so yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
So I gave you 3 different answers, and hopefully I got you covered. Hopefully that was what you're looking for. Oh, he's pointing at me. I'll point
He's like,
back.
you're getting. It's like you got the dad jokes down. It's all
I
right.
got to be frozen though. I have to be frozen.
Yeah.
in this place.
He's very sluggish up there.
Here we go.
I think we have a higher quality.
Yeah, I'm
of
driving the struggle bus.
feed. We have a higher quality of feed being presented right now. I think we're at 1080p instead of 720.
Yeah. What other food related questions? Hard hitting journalistic.
Oh my God,
deep
we've talked about
Peanut butter on a bagel. Thoughts?
It depends on the bagel. I mean, is it a plain bagel? Because I'm fine. You can do like a PB&J on a plain bagel and just keep it PB&J.
Yeah.
But if you have like one of those really gnarly, like super onion bagels, that might be so great.
One of us. See, Jake, there's nothing wrong. Well, he's a perfectionist when it comes to bagels. It only
He puts it on
requires
like
smear.
everything.
So you don't even do lox? Sour
I do like
cream and onion
bagels though, but
smear?
I like the everything bagels. I like the bagels that have like all the stuff and the nuts and the berries and the things mixed in.
Everything
Not
but
that.
the
Not what that is.
Don't look at me.
I'm not yet ready for Brickworld. That is a problem. That is a topic of conversation.
Come on, Ken, raise your hand. You're not
I'm
ready either.
close. I'm close.
Right?
I'm so not ready.
I'm ready for show and tell if you guys need me to cover some time to chew or swallow or whatever you guys need.
Ready to build my habitat and golf course.
Oh, I'm not going to be that guy, so I will actually
We're not
pop the
ready.
camera just to kill this sandwich really quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill this sandwich.
Okay.
PB&J tortilla rolls?
So yeah,
Should I do the amazing show and tell while he's gone so he can't?
Yeah, do it.
Like,
Just it's all backstage and you can't say anything. Oops,
Okay.
switch that. Dun, dun, dun. Thank
do you want the
Hang on,
really?
so
Do
there
you
we
want
go.
the big show piece? Do you want me to go from smaller to large? What kind of order do you want?
Your call.
Hey, that's a bunch of brick. Oh, hi. It's up to you guys. What order do you prefer?
Let's
Go smallest to largest.
yeah.
Smallest to largest. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll start with that little
Let's
habitat.
get bigger and bigger.
Make it bigger.
So if anybody didn't know, I am a space builder.
Wow, that's so cool. I love the images on the back.
Nice.
So those are from 1978. Those are the 78
Oh.
printed bricks. From
That's
the-
amazing.
I mean, they held up very well. I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are crisp, man. All the computer terminals are crisp. They're perfect prints.
Are those
Yeah.
are the top computer terminals? Are those inverted?
Yeah, they're inverted slopes. Mm-hmm.
Huh. I didn't know they were printed on that part.
Yeah. You got to know your Got to know your Bricklink catalog.
Yeah, that's a unique find there.
I like
And
what you did
then-
with the floor pattern too, with the grates.
Oops.
Oh,
And there you go. And there's me with my little spaceship. And I have to constantly fix it because every time I bring it back home, it gets completely wrecked. But there you go.
Brick Dad in the comments, you got a great question, but give me just a minute and we'll get to that point. We're gonna finish letting him show stuff first, and then we
Into Brickworld and how's it affect your building over the years? Okay, yeah, I can take that one off. Well, I didn't go after the super teeny stuff, but I'm wearing my Neo Atlanta shirt. I did participate in some Neo Atlanta stuff, but I was churning out evil weapons.
oh, that's cool.
Gatling style.
I don't like building weapons, but the city needed a defense, so I decided I was going to go dark and evil with a bunch of.
Love the part usage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that a flipper down at the bottom?
What was that?
Is that a flipper down at the base?
No, it's an inverted shoulder piece from a minifig. That's what the chain is feeding into for the
okay.
animal belt.
Get it now.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? It is one of. Look, pull open that bottom drawer.
There you go.
Whoa.
Nice. Now that's a gun.
Oh, these.
Nope. Hold on.
That's not a gun. That's a gun.
That's a
Yeah,
gun.
that's really good. I'll show you one more.
It is. Like one of these. Hit that.
Oh, nice. It's a love ray.
Who doesn't love guns?
Exactly.
No, but it's like that. One of those parts.
Here we go.
Oh, dang. That's a whole
Oh,
Wow.
nice little mech.
Heck yeah.
What's piloting that one though? Is
I
that
don't
like
know.
a
Some
I
evil
see that
dude.
name.
I don't. Some private security service contractor, I think.
Oh, I
Oh,
thought,
no,
you
never
had,
mind.
I thought you had a sugar skull in there for a second.
Mhm.
Hola. Say hello to my little friend.
Now the next thing I have is I have 14 copies of these. This is something I do every year at Brickworld, or I've been doing it. Is an annual gift for people I
Yeah.
appreciate. Now this is it wrapped because I don't want anybody to get a hint or a whiff of what this year's gift will be.
Oh, that's too cool.
But
What's in the box?
Super, what's in the box? It's
Last
not
year-
Gwyneth Paltrow's head.
Last year we were
year,
lucky
Supa
enough to
and
receive
Hawk
one.
were one of the few who got one of the gifts.
See if I can stand him up
Put it
there.
on the.
Let me do it on the backside. There we go.
I've got the model here,
I'm about to,
but it comes with the box, instructions, and I believe it had a photo jacket at some point.
I'm gonna throw
No,
this out.
this one did not.
Okay, that
I'm
one
not-
didn't.
I'm gonna throw this out there. My birthday is next Thursday. I'm just kidding.
No, sorry, all 14 have been accounted for. I'm sorry, man.
No, you're fine. I was just messing.
But yeah, this is called the Baby Bear BattleBot.
I just loved how that is that the baby bear from Brave?
Mhm.
I think it
Well,
is.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. We bought some at a show one time because we have Merida. She wanted the brothers. The same bear we bought. So I want to do it.
And the cool thing about these is you get the instructions, you get to build it,
Where's the
and then I do not publish the instructions. They are completely private to the individual who gets the gift for that year. The year before that, this was the Meow Mech. This was the year before.
Nice.
Kind of reminds me of the mechs from Avatar a little bit. The suits that they
Yeah,
work in.
yeah, they're like a little teeny kitty version of one of those awesome Avatar mechs.
And you get this
No.
really fancy book that goes through all the instructions all the way to the end.
Nice.
But I'm not letting you see the inside. Sorry.
That's like a no.
There's also
You
special
should.
notes on the techniques and stuff, so it tries to teach you some clip and bar techniques and some other little useful little wizardry stuff going on.
Oh, that is handy.
Next up,
You gotta take that one off so it'll fit. Otherwise, you gotta move the arm. And that's next.
when I was just
Yes.
goofing around, I smashed out some of these crazy little
Oh, whoa.
polygon things because they had the clear bars on the pick-a-brick wall.
Nice. Very, very cool. I did see this other one.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for that one.
Oh, it's a D20.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it sturdy enough to roll gently?
No, I'm not going to roll these.
No, it won't.
It would, but I'm not.
I wouldn't.
I'm not going to. So
I
don't know if you
wouldn't.
can see that, but I hand cut other people.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I can't hear him. Anybody else?
No, he's too
Cut out.
far from the mic.
Hello.
There you go.
There we go.
Covering the mic.
You hand cut all the things.
So yeah, these are individual sheets of red construction paper that have been glued, hand cut and then glued.
Get
Very
out of
cool.
here.
Out of every individual sheet of paper is hand cut as well.
Nice.
So that's
I
why I'm
love
not
it.
going to roll it. It's just
I wouldn't either.
this is like 3 hours of work, guys.
Oh, I wouldn't roll it. Absolutely not.
Note to self, find a way to reinforce that so he can make a rolling one.
Ooh, bigger.
Oh.
D12, D12 for anybody who
Yeah.
plays. There's also a D8, a D6, and a D4 in progress. And I think the D10 is brick belt. I just have to take it, box it up, and get it there. And then the last thing, so you guys can kind of see that wolf's head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of the things I like to do is make wearable masks. I don't know.
I have a question.
I don't know. I don't know if Mr. Nerd or Jake knew that.
Oh,
You
yeah,
guys
I
have
knew that.
seen them before. Okay.
I see the one right back there now.
Yeah, that's not a mask. That's a sculpture. That one.
Oh,
that
that's a
one-
sculpture. Okay, never mind. I thought that was
Yeah,
a
that
mask.
can't
I was
be
like,
worn.
damn,
That's-
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's way too big. But I've got a new. I got a new one. So I had my first wearable was Sir Meowsalot, right? It was a cat, it had gray on top, white. So it was time to go back and revisit it. Let me show you how it's going.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
We're getting all the
Mohawk's
special.
really feeling it. Mohawk's like, show it to me now. I'm ready for it.
Show me the baby.
Ooh.
Holy
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Did you make the eyes a lot bigger?
Oh yeah, yeah. The
I
eyes are
thought
masked
so.
now.
My
Matt.
So
God.
it's an entirely ground up redesign. Like I completely redid the whole thing.
Oh, nice.
So
They
I
say
just
it looks
wanted.
lighter. Like,
It's a lot.
not
it's a
necessarily
lot-
lighter, but like less on the underside.
Yep.
The very
I don't
bottom.
know why, but I'm thinking if he had made a pink one, that would have been
Pink Panther?
pink. It's a pink panther, yes.
That would be good.
So that's what
That's
I'm waiting
pretty
for is
dope.
the Bricklink order so I can get the proper, antenna whiskers on.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Nice.
But the eyes do
Okay.
track you.
Yeah, they do. Can you see out of it? That is the other question.
Jake and I are just being over
Yeah.
here looking in different directions.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like, does it track you?
You see those little holes? That's what he has. Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Those are his
Right there and
eyeballs.
there. So that's the only place where you can see has two little pinholes.
Oh, that's too cool.
And you can meet Sir Meowsalot at Brickworld Chicago.
Yes! I have a picture with Sir Meowsalot.
Yep, sir. And Mr. Meow will be wearing this. My son is coming to Chicago for the first time, so he will be wearing it.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
We'll have two
Get my
running
family
around.
involved. That's how it goes.
Yep.
And
I'm
if you're
excited
not
for that.
familiar with, if you're not familiar with the technique,
It's a lot of chaos.
Yes.
Oh my god.
it's all mixing joints.
That's a headache.
Oh, when we saw the first one, you looked inside and you were just like, that's amazing. Because you know everything has to be at just the right angle for everything to line and sculpt the way it needs to be sculpted. And so with all those joints, it's like, I can only imagine if you move one out of alignment, that it's going to set everything else off.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's amazing to look at.
It's a million hours of trial and error, trial and error, and trial and error, and trial and error.
My favorite way to build.
But I always start with the eyes, so you got to nail the eyes, and then once you have the eyes, there's always one eye of width between the eyes. Don't know if you knew that, but yeah. So there's always one width of eyeball.
I'm making
and then from there, you can do the rest of the proportions of the face, and once you've got the triangle down, then the rest goes really fast. You just get the rest of the head up. And Dandelion will be there. I'll be wearing Dandelion. And Sir Malzahn can be worn by my son.
Dandelion! I forgot about him. He was amazing, dude.
I think Dandelion I saw.
Yeah, father-son duo. Dandelion will be back, as they say. Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 4.
Yay! So I have a question. Does your season have anything to do with the reason that you build wearables?
No.
Because I noticed the other day we were watching back, and I was like, "Oh, the episode that Moto got out on was the hat episode, and now he so famously wears all of these headpieces that I'm like, is that what I will come from like a phoenix from the ashes? This will not."
So everybody was looking toward me because I had made Sir Meowsalot and posted online before I went to Lego Masters.
Oh.
And they had seen it, and they knew that I had done a wearable, and everybody was like, that's the guy who's going to kill this challenge. And I was like, no, because I know how long it takes and how difficult it is.
Yeah.
But I just keep doing wearables. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys know the term pulling a moto, but I've been on YouTube before where I'm constantly, models are exploding, and I drop them, or they blow up in my hands, or they crash. It's become so consistent that a lot of people call it pulling a moto when something breaks or falls apart when you're showing it. And on brand, I pulled a moto on Lego Masters, so total on brand move.
Yeah.
Right?
That's marketing.
That's marketing. Let me get to this question. Moto, can you give us a bit of history about how many times you've been to Brickworld and how it has affected your building over the years? How many times have I been? How many times have I been? Let's see. So the first time I went to any convention, including Brickworld, was after season 2 of Lego Masters. I was doing like the little tour to celebrate. That was 2021, or was it 20? Let's see. 5 is now.
2021 would have been when they aired.
Did it first?
Yeah.
At Chicago.
Or 20, it was 2020. I don't know, ours was a COVID production, so I think it's 21. So Chicago maybe 2021. So I've been there 4 times.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 4 including
times,
this.
I think.
Well,
This will be my 4th time, I think. Or, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe this will be my. This might be my 5th. I've forgotten.
21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 25.
Yeah, this might be my 4th or 5th time, I think. So I'm kind of a newbie when it comes to Brickworld Chicago and conventions overall. I displayed locally at local events around here in the Denver area before doing the whole super epic, going to mega conventions, the real conventions, the AFO conventions. But I do, there's a couple events I love that are local to our area that I still love to display at and do. But that's how I kind of I started building in, because I got into it with my son in 2016. Then I started mock building in 2017. So I haven't been doing it that long. I just kind of came out of nowhere. And then I joined a lug after the first year. I think I had completed my first mock. And I was at FanX, which is our version of Comic-Con here in Denver. And there was a Lego area with Lego clubs displaying their mocks and stuff. And I was really interested. And this guy saw that I was really taken a look at everything in detail, and he's like, "Oh, do you build?" And I said, "Yeah, I made my first custom spaceship thing, and it's on this thing called the Brothers Brick, and I don't know what I'm doing." And he's like, "Brothers, that Brothers Brick is a big deal, right?" And I'm like, "No, it's just some blog." He's like, "You gotta come, you gotta join this log." And from then I started to understand and expand my mind and my learning. How's it affected my building over the years? Chicago, I'd say the conventions don't affect my building. I'm the kind of guy that I'll build whatever crazy ideas I have, and then I'll take them to a convention. So I'm not someone who's building for an award or a specific category at a convention. I don't build for awards. Some people do. Like, they'll use a convention as a way to incentivize themselves to build.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the reverse. I just have my own things that I like to build, and then I bring them to conventions. And because I like to display them when they're done. So if people enjoy them, that's cool. I've gotten a few awards, which is crazy. They come out of nowhere sometimes, which is neat. I'm more of a token kind of guy. Like, the more tokens I get, the more I feel like I'm loved and adored. I know it's horrible to say, but I get my validity through tokens, guys. That's why I build. That's the reason I go to Chicago.
I love it.
Look.
That's my favorite thing, is to bring the tokens home and put them up on the shelf to see all the little things that people have made to show their appreciation of what you did.
Yeah, and every year I'll strip this thing bare, and you can see all these tokens are starting to come in from the first convention I've been to already, which is nice.
Nice little collection.
Heck yeah.
Another good one.
Have you had a monumental build moments? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've had a monumental build moment. So one thing that I like doing, and maybe people will notice this if they go check out my stuff, is I like to find new ways of building, new techniques of building, ways of constructing that haven't been done before, or done very rarely. So the polytexture technique for the wolf and that cat is very unusual. I think there's maybe 6 people that kind of do it that I know of. That was pretty wild. That was taught to me from Riley, Brick Science on YouTube. He's a Coloradan. Polytexture. One time I did what I called flexagons. So I took all the flexible branch elements and I made a cat and a mouse out of it. So I sculpted animals out of the branch elements, right? Because they can flex, and you can. So this is kind of like low poly art, and my thought was I should do splines. How can I do splines? And that got me into the polytexture stuff. Yeah,
that's what caught my attention for what you build the very first time. Was the map.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got yours here. I've got my version.
Yeah.
This is my D20 that I can
mine in
roll.
the living room.
That is definitely the D20 you want to roll.
But these are, and then you guys turned it into a game, which is really cool. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I designed this, and then they took off.
Oh, we tell everybody. Like, do you know Moto from Lego Master Season 2? They're like, what? I'm like,
yeah, but imagine this turned into a mouse or a cat instead of just a globe. It's kind of one of the builds.
It's amazing.
On your head.
Look through the Insta, you'll find
I was
it.
going to say, it's going to be way back there, because that's going to be 2, almost 3 years ago, probably, back on his Instagram.
I don't think I ever put the sphere on Instagram.
No, but you have the cat and mouse.
But yeah, the cat and mouse.
The cat and mouse are there. So Instagram changed the way they cut the things from squares to rectangles. So I had to go through and redo my entire Instagram from top to bottom now. But if you go to moto.lego on Instagram, you will see that I don't post individual pictures. My profile is the artwork as you scroll. And the cat and mouse it'll be on there, because all the major stuff I do put on Instagram. That's probably the best place for people to start when they want to see what I've done.
Heck yeah.
So build moment, coming up with the flexagon technique, that was an immediate I can sculpt with topiary. Like, I thought, a branch element can be topiary. You can make sculptures out of it. Why not just sculpt with this thing? And then that was a great technique. Another one is I really love clip and bar methods. I really push clip and bar to extremes. That's kind of the Meow Mech and those are kind of demonstrating that. So clip and bars, you know, there's the rods, the bars, and there's the, you know, most people are familiar with the hinge pieces, right? The clip and the bar is a basic hinge.
Yeah.
I gather clip and bar elements.
Clip and bar.
Yeah. So I remove the plates completely. I do completely studless clip and bar type methods. That's another technique I love. Polytexture is another technique that I love. The latest thing I'm doing, which is this thing, is there's a set that was only sold with Lego partnering with a company in Japan called Muji. And they produced this hole punch tool. Okay? Now, if you can't read the Japanese, that's okay. Basically, what they're telling people is with this hole punch, you can punch stud holes, attach it using Lego studs, and any piece of paper that you use is part of your build. It is an official part that you can use by using this tool.
Oh, very cool.
I need one.
So because I have this tool, if I set it on the table at Chicago, I can say this is completely 100% legit and legal and allowed because I use the Muji tool to punch out all the holes.
Genius.
So if you really want to buy your own, don't spend the $110 that these are going for now. Just get a 5mm basic hole punch off of Amazon. One of these bad boys, you know, get a 5mm hole punch. It'll punch. This is 5.1 millimeters, which makes all the difference in the world when you're working with flimsy little paper. But I'd encourage people, go ahead and start experimenting with paper, because it can help a lot of ways. Sir Meows a lot. I punched the holes in black fabric. That's how I blacked out the eyes.
Okay.
Okay.
With the lion, I had to use like 8 minifig capes arranged very delicately around the outside to black out the eyes. And with that one, I went to and bought a cheap, like $1.50 in fabric, like a half yard. Used the hole punch, studded it in 4 places, and now that element, that piece of cloth that I used, is allowed according to the Lego rules of Muji hole punching, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm always looking for little ways to cheat the system or push it.
I mean, it's following the rules. It's legal.
It's stepping on the edge.
The gray area.
Yeah, well, they've never produced a hole punch since, so I think someone kind of went like, I don't know if we really should have done that.
That opens doors.
But brick building something like that, I could have used the Nexagons, you know, to do it, but why not? Why not? And that's why I'm bringing these to Chicago, is to teach people all about hole punching and paper crafting.
I'm excited to get in person.
It's like, it is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I also like to do Bionicle. You're going to see a big Bionicle, or Construction. Technically, it's Construction. Because I was building. So I used to build at a skate park. My son would go on the skate park, and then I'd spend 4 hours building and bring all my Lego out to the skate park. And this guy from across the street was really into Bionicle. And he saw me building this gigantic thing. He's like, "Oh, I love Bionicle." And he came over, and I said, "Oh, yeah, it's Bionicle." And he said, "What?" This young guy came ripping over. He had grown up with Bionicle. He said, "That's not Bionicle. That is Tiro Factory. That's this, that, and the other." And it was always construction elements, so they weren't Bionicle theme. And he schooled me. He spent like 15 minutes like dressing me up and down. But I've done a big construction dragon, because that's another crazy way of building. I like to mix a lot of those construction elements into stuff at times. And then as far as the monumental build moment is, I made a 7.5 foot tall Technic spaceship that I could pick up and swoosh. It did collapse, but coming up with the idea of how to build radial Technic was really cool. So it looks like a big egg if you ever see it, or it's a big egg-like spaceship. But the idea was, I took the idea of a truss bridge, which you triangulate everything with Technic.
Yeah.
And I bent it into a circle.
Ooh.
And then started to stack the different diameter circles on top of each other because, radial geometry is not something I saw in Technic. But deciding to take the truss bridge, bend it into an inner radius and an outer radius, and then structure it together in different layers to stack things into an egg-like shape, which is very not Technic-y. I thought that was a moment where I had my third building eye kind of opened and gazed upon the world.
You didn't notice any kind of like stressed on the pieces or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, Technic has a lot of flex to it. So people don't realize you could actually manipulate a lift arm bar pretty far, like almost an entire pin left and right.
Yeah.
You shouldn't, but I do it. And then
we bend the rules.
So, yeah, it's pre-stressed concrete. It's just the rebar being pre-stressed for the concrete. But I've destroyed Technic elements. I'm probably one of the few guys that has taken a lift arm and physically snapped it in half while building, like physically ripped the plastic apart.
Just ripped it.
Yeah, I've destroyed plates before doing that. But yeah, I do a lot of crazy stuff though, because I was really purist when I began. And then I was watching, it might have been Beyond the Brick. I can't remember who it was, but they were interviewing Lego designers who were doing the Lego Movie 2. They were showing all the pre-models, the prototypes for the Lego Movie 2 models. And, one of the set designers comes out and does this, and the guy's like, oh, that looks spray painted. He's like, oh yeah, absolutely. We spray paint parts when we don't have the right color, because if they approve it, they'll wind up just injecting the new color into the mold, and what's the problem? As long as the color matches, that's where the new colors come from. You have to go and spray booth it or do whatever, or sometimes they'll cut parts in order to come up with new parts. Sometimes they'll glue parts in order to get those combo parts, those poops, the part out of parts.
Yes.
Oops. But yeah, I like the masks. The masks are solvent welded because at a convention, if someone hits you in the head, I don't want the whole thing just to unravel and blow apart.
No.
But no, I mean the little antennae that I was showing, those were heat gunned, so they warped, and then I spray painted them with gold because antennas don't come in pearl gold. So I'll push things when I have to. I don't like doing it. It hurts me when I do it. I do feel bad about it, but that's the way. That's kind of my perspective. Is if I'm forced to thinking like a set designer, I'm trying to really push something new out there, I will, do certain things.
That's why these are some of my favorite pieces.
Yeah. Always keep the sprues.
Yeah.
Because then you can cut them, and then if you heat them up, like he said, with I use a hair dryer, but you can use a heat gun. Then you have vines.
I turn them into vines because those little prongs are the same size as the
old school flowers.
Yeah, so they fit.
Oh.
And if they're a little loose, you take the heat gun for just a split second near the tip, and it'll melt the tip just enough that it gives it a knob.
Oh, wait,
yeah, there are certain cheat parts that are out there. So I mentioned the hole punch, which is like exotic. The other one is flex tube.
Yeah.
If you don't have flex tube, I can get you the name of a place where you can order it on a spool of 100 feet, so you don't have to spend $1 trillion in more flex tube. You pay $15, you get 100 linear feet of flex tube, basically. But it's one of the parts you're allowed to cut. Right? Yeah. It's legal to cut flex tube. So,
yeah.
Hey, that's a great cheat code. And you can flex it however you want. Some people will run like paper clip wire through it if they really want it to hold a shape. Flex tube's a great cheat. The nets.
Oh, yes. I love when they make the dress.
So that basically is fabric, and there's OEM versions of that. I mean, little oddity. Poison Ivy last year, if you saw her cosplay.
Mm-hmm. That was amazing.
She buys full yards of that netting and then can stud into it and make entire, gowns and stuff out of that stuff. So that's another part I love. Just, flex tube netting is great. You can do great ground effects with netting. If you stud into it and then you let the netting kind of look like a grassy rolling hill, or you can stud into it and you don't have to be reliant on the whole Minecraft blocky looking nature of your landscape anymore. You can just have this nice netting to give you that nice.
Is a great thing in building.
I might need to order some of that stuff. I got some ideas now.
Netting?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I don't have the OEM version of that. I think you have to go search for it. I haven't done that yet. Nylon cord is another one. I love all the string pieces, but that you can match the warp and the weft if you take a sample into a Michaels or something here in the US. You can sit there and you could find the exact piece of nylon that matches the Lego one, and then you can just buy whatever it is, like the whole freaking spool, and just use that to your heart's content. And it's legal to cut that too, so that's cool. I've heard there's an OEM version of the rubber hose, the pneumatic hose tubes. I've been told I need to go to a place like AutoZone and bring it in, and somewhere in the back it's used for like fuel pumping.
They have spools of sizes of
teeny
tubing,
tiny vacuum line.
Coming from 2 former AutoZone employees, yes.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So
Rubber and hard
there was
plastic.
another question. Do you have a top 3 or 4 builders that you look up to? Man, I have to tell you, Brick Dad Build is like the interviewer at this point, isn't he?
Oh, he's the
just
best.
hammering the questions.
Oh, he's the best.
I don't have a top 3. I don't have a top 3 or 4 builders. What I do have is like 3 or 4 builders for a particular style of building. Okay, so I don't so the way I think of it is like if I want to think of very small and intricate style building techniques.
Yeah.
On Flickr, if you look up Jigsaw Joe, J-O, Josephine Monterosso, she is an incredible AFOL. She's never been to a convention. I've only sent her a message once. And this lady will not build, and then maybe once every 3 months she'll post something, and it is atomically amazing what she does. She'll come up with the most brilliant ideas. She makes these little teeny bots, but she made a Swiss Army knife once. She made a light bulb out of 3 elements, and it was perfect. Jeez. She made a grape cluster. And when I saw the photo, I was like, why'd she post a picture of grapes? That's freaking stupid. And then I realized it was a build. And I was like, oh, Jesus. Just absolute perfection.
Look at my fake grapes from my table. They're Lego.
Well, she took like 1 million of those brown whips, lassos and whips.
Yeah.
And a flex tube. And she made a robin's nest out of it by literally doing what a robin does. Like every single stick was woven together into a nest, and she put this little robin's egg blue build thing in the middle of it, right? Which is perfection already. And then in the next picture, she had a picture of Robin from Batman, the little minifig sitting in the middle of it. So it's stuff like
Dynamic
that.
Builder would like
Jigsaw
that one.
Joe. So for the little techniques, the little hacks of the way she uses parts and she cracks stuff open and manipulates them, perfect artist. Sorry, Blake Foster. If I think about space and NPU, sci-fi, cyberpunk, and space, Blake Foster. I gave him the gift one year, and then he turned around and shipped me a gift back. This guy's like a legend, and it. Oh no, did I lose my Blake brick? I better not have. Where did it go?
No.
Here it is.
Cute. I was gonna say, is it in the box?
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's too cool.
Okay, so this seems deceptively simple. This is the Blake Foster Mad Genius. You see it and you think, oh, that's cool. if you look at how he snotted the brackets and everything to where there's no gaps and it's perfect math.
Then bracket up, bracket down.
Yeah.
That takes some timing. Some time, I mean, to figure it out.
Yeah, it goes in 1x2s and.
On the inside, it gets. I mean, it doesn't get better once you crack it open. It gets worse. The way he just asymmetrically figured out this whole thing.
Did he send it to you built, or did he send you like instructions on how to build it?
No. It just came. It came in a little thing, in a little package, and it fell out. And I was like, "What the hell?" And then there's a little notes like, "Hey, Moto, wanted you to have this. Thanks, Blake." I'm like, "Thank you, Blake."
Thank you very much.
That's too cool.
But I tend to enjoy builders that are really good in specific different fields. Because like, pardon me, I gotta get some water here.
Sure, right ahead.
Where's that? Oh, too late. We already missed the opportunity. You have to have that media loaded. Or technical difficulties. So he can have his water. Perfect.
Did you mean that one?
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, so I like getting inspiration from a lot of builders. I mean, if you go to Chicago, there's plenty of them out there. I think the Construction Barnacle guys, I think Nan and Zing, are those two guys' names? They always get awards every year for these little character builds that are about that big. I think he had like a mouse with an ape that won an award last year. They're kind of in the, if you walked in the main hall, they're in the far left-hand corner, like way in the far left back.
I have a hard time.
Those guys, those guys cook my brain every time I look at them. There's a new guy who's here in Colorado. He's 17. Mason's freaking legit. I'm learning a lot from that guy. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. But he's only on Flickr. So some of these guys, they have no social media, but when you find them and you look at their techniques and their building styles, it's absolutely incredible.
I never got into Flickr.
I get inspiration from a lot of places. I very much look at highly technical stuff, like highly technical building styles is kind of where I get my inspiration, because I like to make up my own stories and my own things. I don't really do IP builds. I did the Mad Max V8 Interceptor, so that's a lie. I've done a couple IP things, but not most of the time I don't.
At this point,
I'm a fan of your friend's spaceships. Using the mini dolls to build your spaceships.
So so I used to build for Shiptember. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
No? Oh my goodness, no. Okay, so if you're into spaceships, Shiptember is the month of September. You need to build a ship. SHIP, significantly huge investment in parts. So it's a spaceship. It's a spaceship that's 100 studs long in one direction. Okay, and you have exactly that month to begin it and finish it and post it online.
Woo.
So I did Shiptember one year, and I did a mini doll build because I didn't see any mini doll spaceships out there. Usually it's micro scale. They're building big galactic fleets because they make a big poster every year. This is all done through Flickr. But Shiptember, capital SHIP, then Tember, is a thing if you're into classic spaceships. And then what's new is the last couple of years, I participate in French Shiptember. So French Shiptember eliminates the 100 stud limit. You can build however big or small you want. You have to build friendly though, which means mini doll based if you use a figure. Use the bright friendly colors into your build. And it can be a spaceship, a pirate ship, any type of boat is included, any nautical stuff. So any type of ship. It's more open-ended, and that's why I love Friendship Timber. Oh, another builder I like, Martin. Martin from Alabama. You guys know Martin? There's a lot of Disney stuff.
I've seen a face, maybe.
So his token was the castle. He does a lot of Disney castle
cool.
stuff. Yeah. He's a Disney dude, but he did Friendship Timber, and I gave him one of my Friendship Timber belts, and he turned around and gave me one of his Friendship Timber belts.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Oh,
But yeah, it's a Star Wars Planet Hoth thing, only friendized with cats. So you can do Star Wars. You can twist pop culture if you want. It's kind of fun.
Is that his face? The cat? I see a face on it.
I don't know.
But yeah, there's Friendship Timber, and then if you want to build rovers, there's Feb Rovary, where you build a space rover.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
All sorts of fun stuff.
That's awesome.
Yep.
We're learning so much, Jake.
Listen,
Mechtober?
I like monthly things like that. Like, hey, let's.
Well,
I try to learn as much about this fun thing that we enjoy, just because now that I've got that Lego Master.
Do they have a March?
I need to act like I'm a master or something. I don't know.
Do they have a March Madness? Because they definitely need to.
They probably do.
Well, according to
I know they have a mech one.
Generaltron,
They do have a
October.
Mechtober.
October.
Yeah.
Mechtober. Yeah, so if you can
We
think
did,
of something
we all
sci-fi,
three
there's usually a
competed in.
month. Yeah, there's usually a month dedicated.
Sorry, go ahead.
to it somewhere.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sometimes
What
the
were you saying?
internet. We had I don't know if you know Seamus, just 15 bricks across the sea there. He did Mech Madness in March 2 years in a row. Ken won it the first year. Josh won it the second. Because Josh is an unreal
What is
builder,
this?
even though he does not like Star Wars.
I gotta write this down. What is it? March Mech Madness?
We did
It's
a
speed build
bracket.
competition.
It was a speed build competition with mechs that came out, and it was the first one was Marvel, and then the second one was Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was time based, which.
Ooh.
The one who got me worried was actually it wasn't you. It was the person you were up against. It was Lord of the Bricks.
Ooh, yes.
Because I did not I was watching him and I was like, oh, he's a little far behind. And then I look at him, he's like 3 bags in. I was like, oh, he's actually doing really good. But
Yeah, as soon as you guys told me he had bag 3 open, I kicked it in extra high gear and just had to finish.
I was worried for Mohawk. I was like, you better keep it stateside. I won this trophy first.
Yeah, on the
I'm not
man.
giving it up.
Yeah, being on a clock is no fun.
No.
I can
Well,
speak
well,
from
we do it.
experience.
And we do it as a live stream, so it's each person's building. None of the sets have been opened yet, and then we have one person moderating to help, kind of keep the comments flowing, because obviously whoever's building is not going to really be looking at the screen.
Yeah,
And then it's just the first one to be done. We did a qualifying round the first or the second year because we had enough interest in it that it was like, all right, we got to narrow it down some. So we had a qualifier. We had 4 people building at a time on the screen.
Yeah.
I think. And then we did best times from each round.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
I
fun.
will have a Brick Dad builds. If you are in Chicago, I will have a mini doll spaceship because of Friendship Timber. I just bring my Friendship Timber build to Chicago every year. Yeah, I
I
like.
can't remember if he said he was going or not.
But yeah, that's kind of fun and silly.
He better be going to Chicago. He lives within 30 or 40 minutes of the hall. So
We borrowed his monitor last
So
year.
He's
I feel foolish, but I asked Mark Larson, where did the term taint and the tainted come from? And he told me. Last
These
Friday.
two.
So it comes from the fact that Cerberus was building a mech. Wait, what's going on with my headphones? Can you guys talk just to make sure it's still working?
Hello,
Hi.
Moto.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
I somehow changed the parameters of my headphones. That was bizarre. But yeah, Mark Larson told me it had something to do with he was building a mech, and then it didn't have legs, so they're talking about the taint, the mech taint. And the chat went nuts, so that's why the chat is now called the Tainted, is because of the taint, the mech taint.
Yeah.
You're saying it's a physical location in the hall in Schaumburg?
Yeah.
We have a reference to that, yeah.
So where is this place?
Okay, so you know where the garage sale was last year and like the big hall thing? Okay, so the sky bridge that goes
Skyway.
across,
Okay.
yes, that is the taint.
I don't know why, but okay.
I don't know.
Between the two objects.
Hi, Beerus.
That was not a good idea.
You got clawed.
But yeah.
I've been a few times.
No.
But yeah, it's called the taint because it's between the convention and the hall.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I know. And I've
Yep.
written down a note. So if you guys noticed that in order to get my habitat back last year, I did sign my work.
No,
Oh, nice.
smart.
Yeah.
But I do have a sticky note that I'm prepared to put on there. Just it says moist.
Moist.
It depends. It might actually be taking faster if you put the tag on it. Some of the people.
No, I was supposed to come up to her and whisper moist. I'm just going to start with a little sticky note.
Slurs
Just to
me.
keep the joke going. So there we go. The space between.
The space between.
Space between. You gotta say it in a Dave Matthews voice. You can't just be like the space between. Okay.
No, you have to say it. My dad wants to know what's your non-Lego hobby.
I have
Ooh, that's
lots of them.
Yeah.
So can I do a self promo? Would you guys mind if I did like a self promo type of thing?
I was about to ask.
Is that
because
all
that was
yours.
No, I was about to say that was something I was going to ask because
Did you see that? I pushed the brick right off.
Amazing.
The force is strong with this one.
Yeah, I don't need full screen for this because it's not something I can show.
I'm glad you did that though, because now I see you have the Lego Batmobile from the Lego Batman movie.
Yeah,
in the
these are my
background.
favorite sets. Dune Ornithopter.
That is one of my top favorite too.
Yep, but that stays on the wall. Sadly, I had to get rid of the Chima one. The Chima one got knocked out by Galaxy Explorer.
That's fair.
and
The
then
Galaxy
Ornithopter-
Explorer is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I have the original, so I'm getting I feel like Adam Savage. I'm like getting distracted and going off all these tangents.
Welcome to our life.
Yeah, so one of the things I've done is I love my childhood sets. I love firsts. So I've restored every single classic space set from 1978 through 84.
Wow.
So in my collection, I've got, they're boxed up, but I've got every classic space set, and it's all, and I sort not just my brick by color and by type, but also by age. So I turn all the bricks that are basic over and categorize them by Samsonite, patent pending, 60s stuff, and then I get into the 70s, early 80s, and then I start to stop around there. But yeah, all my classic space set are age-appropriate brick by turning it over and looking at the molding on the underside of the plates and the brick and all the other stuff to make sure it was molded in the 80s or in the late 70s, early 80s.
The different pieces have changed over the years. You can have the same piece and just even the slightest difference in it, and they don't align or they don't fit the same or make the same shape. It's crazy because especially when you're doing something with a pattern and you need 50 of the same thing, when you get 3 that aren't the same mold or aren't the same year, it's like it's not gonna work.
Yeah, like for example, I'll do stuff like Sword the Solid Pip on the bottom side because I know that. And then I'll look for the number stamp. So this is a Yeah, this is an early 80s one because it has a really big chunk of numbers on the bottom before they got into laser etching and all that cool stuff. But yeah, you can do research online where people have taken pictures of the undersides of the plates and the bricks and how the supporting structures were and by age, so you can age them all out. I will say, don't build with Samsonite. Just admire the Samsonite brick if you have it. It's made with acetate. It was pre-ABS. It was acetate. So that stuff, when it ages, it gets really brittle, but the clutch is redonk, and it's more brittle than, like, it's a brittle brown, maybe a little bit more so. So if you bind it, it's just going to shatter if you take it off. But my promo was another hobby. So if you go to YouTube and you look up, I'll post a comment here, Moto Meow Adventures.
Hey, Ken, pull it up on another screen for us.
Oh yeah, I was about to ask about that too, just because I know that was something that was on the spreadsheet.
So I have I have lots of hobbies. One of them is photography. I've done that since I was 13. That's probably the longest hobby I've ever had. Landscape photography, and then rock hounding. So I started a rock collection when I was really young, 12, 13, and this Moto Meow Adventures is my son and I will go out rock hounding to all sorts of crazy places. I've just finished the last video from this last winter. But if you like rock hounding and you want to go out and find crazy stuff, I include the GPS coordinates for all these locations. I give you walkthroughs of where, we are. And yeah. So a lot of agates, petrified wood. On one adventure, we find an artifact. I don't take it because it's illegal. But we definitely took a picture of it. There's a couple of national parks, monuments in there. But most of the stuff, this is wilderness on BLM land. That one's Great Salt Lake. Oh, that was the Pigeon Blood at, Last Chance. That thing was nuts. Same with the Shadscale Mesa.
You got a good bit over here.
Yeah, but if you scroll down, like going hiking to an arch, or that one over there to the right, the Lookout Ruin. That was, I had a book, and he had a secret location where you go out to this ancient Fremont culture lookout tower. You hike to it, and it's like, it's there. Humans stacked all these rocks and made a watchtower in the middle of this wilderness.
Mile Canyon petroglyphs and pictographs.
Yep. And then we do fossils. Sometimes it's a bust, last chance bust, so I don't mind showing a video of
That's too cool.
I want to go rock hounding with Mornay Mamlambo in New Zealand for whalebone and crabs, fossilized crabs. That'd be my bucket list. New Zealand stuff. But yeah, I'm not looking for subs or anything, but if you're into rock hounding, this is why I wasn't building for about 7 months this year. I was doing this.
Adventuring.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, we're subscribed.
There won't be a lot of videos for a while because now I'm back into Lego, so I kind of been bouncing between the hobbies. I also know how to do a lot of woodworking and stuff. I've restored this house. It was registered in 1938. I've done the real plaster and lath instead of just putting drywall in there. I've built a cupola and put it up on top of a roof. I restore antiques, but now we have all our furniture in the house. I no longer do that. So anything that's over 100 years old, I love going to estate sales and thrift stores. So every weekend on Saturday, I'll take my son out to estate sales and we'll look for cool, wild things. He collects hand-forged steak knives, like the real old settler knives.
Nice.
I like scissors for some reason, so I've got like 30 different scissors. I got scissors everywhere. I swear, our place is like in a zombie apocalypse survival place. If we find it, because we wound up buying. We found this British machete that was like from the 50s or 60s 2 weeks ago. Before that, a sling blade, which is like a zombie killing weapon. I mean, it's just like we've got all this wild vintage hand tools and things that we have, and then the rock collection, and then the Lego. It's all in this area out back, along with a photo backdrop studio. Nice. So I have a lot of different hobby stuff that I do.
So one cool thing we did when my wife and I were on our honeymoon and we were doing a cruise in Barbados, they had this beach. I'm trying to find it. I think I'm not sure what beach it was called, but what they like, a lot of people had come and stacked rocks on top of each other, and there's a whole bunch of them like towers. Is that it? Nope, that's in Australia.
just don't do it in a
national
national park.
I'm like,
yeah, if you're in a national park or monument, don't stack rocks. The Rangers will come and kick them over.
Well, so this place in Barbados,
I learned that recently, by the way. I didn't know that until I started to see the Rangers are getting pissed. But
it's disturbing the wildlife and the natural environment and its potential danger just for.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, also, like you go to some monuments and the rock cairns in the desert are the only waypoints. So if you build your own ones, it's like people get lost, and you don't want people to get lost in like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Nice. That's an interesting fact.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I've seen videos now of Rangers kicking those suckers over, like just totally knocking them over, because it's like cool energy vibe, but this is a national park, which means do not disturb anything.
Yeah.
BLM land though is a free for all, man. That's just like nearly unregulated except for grazing patterns and who gets the rights to it.
That's a good question to end up on for us. It says, Moto, what is a bit of advice you would give young or new builders to learn?
I was just getting warmed up because usually this is the part of the thing where we start to get into weird topics that are fun and strange instead of so serious things. Just be patient. Because I mean, I've seen my son, right? He started when he was about 4 or 5, and now he's 13. And when you're that young, you're very impatient. You know, he can't build more the thing he's building has to be done within 30 minutes or less. Maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. Whereas, I'm sinking like 100 hours into that cat mask. That's not his thing. But just build what you like, build what you enjoy, but also try to have a little bit of patience to rework what you've built. So save your builds and then come back to them later and see them with new eyes and make them a little bit better. Because I have stuff my son built when he was 4, and then and he looks at them, he's like, Dad, why don't we take that apart? It's really bad. I'm like, no, but you made it. This is the best you could do when you were 4. That's why we're saving it. So it's on the shelf of memories. We have a memory shelf of his stuff. That's cool. He's like, I'll show you where he's at now. I wish I did this. This was one of the favorite things from Neo Atlanta. I did not build this thing. This was my son.
Yes!
Oh, very cool. I like that.
So yeah, he made an evil AI scorpion bot.
Yeah.
I love it.
From what I understand, yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild, right?
Okay.
But yeah, he can knock it out of the park when he wants to. Or just think about, if you don't have a lot of parts or a studio, or like, you don't have to make something completely crazy. So here's something I made in less than an hour. And I'll have it Chicago because I thought it was hilarious when I finished it. But you don't have to go crazy with parts either.
I like the simple emoji faces on it. That's pretty funny.
That's great.
So yeah, I used the dots emoji tiles as the faces. I just put them on the paddle.
It's the little things that always make it great.
Makes me think of Lilo and Stitch, the ice cream.
On roller skates.
but it's a little story, and you can get it right away.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be complicated, and there's maybe less than 20 parts in this whole thing, including the base.
Yeah. That's
simple yet fun.
Yeah, the hardest part is coming up with the idea. But if you're just goofing around, don't try to, go crazy with stuff. You can build little simple things, like I build robots. So there's my robot dog.
What's his name?
I just pulled a Moto.
His name's Rover.
And that guy fell now.
No, it's actually
But
Roto.
you can see this guy wasn't taking care of his dog's things. So now the popo's on him.
They were arresting him for not picking up the booty.
That's a lug nut right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
All it just makes me think about is it's Robots, the animated movie. That's all I think about. Oh, that's too cool.
That's a little robot dog that I built a bunch of these to send off to Neo Atlanta.
That's like if BB-8 had 4 legs, right there. Not BB-8. Oh god, B2. B2. I'm thinking of the droid from Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Oh, it's
I thought it was B2. Is it B2? No.
Okay. Maybe no. It's
Dio.
Dio is the other one.
No, I know Dio's the other one. I'm looking at him. He's right there.
I can't remember, but
No.
all it is just a million espresso pieces because they were on the pick-a-brick wall
Heck yeah.
for the legs and for the neck, and then you just pop some translucent parts on there, and away you go. So, just it takes a long time to kind of find your own voice and find your own way as to what you like to build. So, and you know what? If you're not having fun anymore, if you get so serious with this thing that it's not fun, then what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
So just have fun. Just build what you like, find what you like. Don't be afraid to, and enjoy the hobby your way. Like, one thing I really hate is gatekeeping. So I like breaking down gatekeepers whenever I meet them. There's this attitude of, oh, I'm a mock builder. Those are just set builders. So I'm like, don't tell that guy how to enjoy his hobby, okay? Nothing wrong with enjoying sets and building sets and having fun with the hobby you love, enjoying it your own way. If you like Lego, that's what more do you need?
Well, and set building is also going to teach you a whole lot of stuff.
I was getting ready to say, stats are the gateway drug to mock building.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. I learned a lot because I was cheap, so I was buying. I would go to a thrift store and they would take donated Lego, and crush it into bags, and they would sell these 7-pound bags for $49. And when I did the math, 7 pounds of Lego for $49, a $49 set ain't 7 pounds. So you can do the computation and very quickly realize, oh, I can restore sets that tumble out of this thing and try to identify them. You look at the license plates on any vehicle and it gives you the set number. You look at partially crushed stuff, and then you learn about Bricklink because you don't have all the parts because they weren't in the bin, or you sort of the non-Lego out. But what's great is restoring sets from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. It taught me all the techniques that kind of through not just more recent sets, but just throughout all the history of time too. And a lot of crazy weird vintage parts. I love crazy weird vintage parts. That's the reason I put a lot of them into my builds, is all the really weird parts. Or I don't shy away from Technic. A lot of folks think Technic is the devil, but I don't shy away from it.
No,
I love
It's
mixing
useful,
it.
and it's fun to mix in for sure.
Or you
It's
come
also
up with crazy little
travel.
things like this, like an energy core.
Yes, that's so fun. Look at that.
That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's too cool.
I love the crowns holding the sphere.
Yeah.
So the crowns in the sphere were my thing. My son is the one who came up with this.
Oh.
So if you give a bunch of parts to a kid, somehow their mind is more unlocked. I jammed out a bunch of things, but
Those are
They're
cool.
so
There's
cool.
There's another version using the more rare part.
Oh, that's too cool.
But you can use the technical part, or if you want to be more crazy elegant, you can get that 3. I collect, by the way, I put these in a special place. Anything with a hexagon or a 3.
Yeah.
A trilateral symmetry. Is that correct? Yeah. Those parts are rare. There's not a lot of hexagons and trilateral stuff going on in the Lego system, so I collect those and put them in this very special place.
That just looks
like I'm just rambling.
Plucked from a sci-fi film, though. That looks too cool. That's why. Let's see. Mox, new styles of thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking about building on this.
Oh, the hexagon shape that we have. Except ours is
Shoot, I'm over here working on. I'm over here doing studio stuff right now.
But yeah, I've always liked. I have a fine art degree. I also have an engineering degree, but I really needed that fine art degree. Without some sort of creative outlet, I've always been making stuff. I've always been building stuff. I've always been using my hands for things. I'm now a professional designer because I started with software engineering, and I did just about everything there is to do in the software engineering world. Before moving over and being a UX designer, so designing the actual products, making all the drawings that the developers build to. Was one of my bucket list goals that I've kind of ticked off the list.
Oh, you fancy.
Yeah.
Fancy. I like that.
I'm Moto Lego. Moto.Lego. But it feels like we should talk about anything newsworthy that I should get to a hot take on, or
what do we think about the two?
If you have
first
Lego
releases?
Masters questions too while I'm here, I could share whatever Lego Masters questions you have.
How about that new build?
How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah. What do we think of that?
What does it look like?
I'll pop it up.
I haven't seen a picture of it.
I got it right here.
I saw it earlier today when I was on the site looking at the new sets.
Coming soon to a.
I really want the vending machine, the gumball machine. I really want that set. I only buy one set a year, guys. Last year was the June Ornithopter. I think this year it's going to be the gumball machine.
I don't
The gumball
necessarily
machine
want
is
it for
definitely
the
unique.
I want it for the mechanism and the mechanics of it.
That's fair.
Yeah, to me, it's a lot like Ship in a Bottle, Grand Piano, Typewriter, Globe. They all kind of fall into that same area of ideas of things that Lego should have thought of, and they just didn't. And someone else came along and sniped them. And I love it when someone does that. So I'm always wanting to find a set that does that.
Where is it? What the heck? Hold on.
Don't worry, guys. It's Ken's first time doing this stream.
Apparently. Toothless. Jeez. Oh, it's under icons. That's what it is. I thought How to Train Your Dragon had its own little bit. This is what it is.
Nice. Should have just searched new.
I did.
Oh, wow. That was not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
There might be more.
Right.
I can only assume there could be more.
It is a build that for a younger kid would be a great build, but based on the piece count and the techniques used, this is not meant for a young kid to have to build, so to speak.
No, it's 18
I mean,
plus.
it's 18
This
plus.
is adorbs. This is so adorbs.
You think so?
I mean, it's cute, but it's not.
I want Simba with wings. Like
It
the
looks
Simba-esque
too
modeling.
pretty. Like it needs to be like the dragon that goes to war. In my mind.
I mean, I'm thinking of how they did the Hungarian Horntail for Harry Potter. I was thinking that could have been the set that they could have had,
That's what I was envisioning.
a crank mechanism where the wings would go back. I mean, they could be doing that in the future with all the other dragons.
I was going to say, that's what Ninjago's for, man.
Elongated
You want
head.
battle dragons, we've got Ninjago already covering a lot of that.
I mean, you're not
But
right.
this is just adorable.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I sent this to my best friend's wife, and she was like, "Oh my god, I got to get this now."
Yeah, absolutely.
So she's getting this set, and then of course she can't wait for the One Piece sets to come out.
Those I am excited for too, but they haven't really announced any of those yet.
Whoever designed this is a really good set designer, though. I mean, if you're looking at how they were able to smash that many compound angles into that space is nuts.
I am just impressed with
the part selection's off the charts too.
I was gonna say there's a lot of new parts for that. It looks like.
Is it me or is the fact that the tongue is on a swivel?
Yeah, the tongue moves a little. I think.
Before, yeah.
Yeah, it goes
I know the
left and
fish
right.
moves. Fish definitely moves.
Yeah, those are mixel toe balls in there. But you're right. It's got a swivel, the plate swivel thing.
I don't know. I think it's the legs for me.
I
really like those elements. Those are bionicle construction elements that they're using against the four legs, and then they're putting the monkey kid horns as the nails on the paws.
Makes me want to watch this movie now.
Now that's a new piece there.
I did watch
it
it the other night with Jenny. It is still good.
This one right here?
Yeah, the blast is a new type of mold, I think. Or I haven't seen that before.
It could be part of the Ninjago set that we just don't know about. It's coming from a dragon. Yeah, no kid is building this.
The lifestyle shots.
Always great.
Have you seen the video?
Yes. Oh my goodness, this is so funny.
Hold on, there is a video for this.
I mean, they're definitely going
live
for that
action shot.
Yeah, they're definitely going for the adorbs component.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a video for it right here.
You're gonna get a strike on music.
This is very loud music.
Okay, that's not the video I remember.
The sculpting on this is insane.
Adults welcome. I like how they put adults welcome when it's an 18+ set.
Well, it's that black box.
The moment there's no other illustrative pieces to it, it's an adults welcome set. It's just the actual set itself with a nice little white Gaussian blur.
Yeah,
in the
and those are all printed components too.
There better not be any stickers on this. No, there should not be.
That one might be a sticker, but I can't tell.
About to find out.
Get to zooming.
Enhanced.
So these right here are not stickers. You don't see any.
No, they're printed.
Inside.
Yeah, they're printed. It looks all printed to me.
It's definitely cutesy, like in a petite, quaint type of way. But I don't know. I guess I was expecting more like the 101 Dalmatian dog or the Lion King or something of that like scale.
I was just hoping any big scale, if nothing else.
Oh yeah,
No.
or mini big scale, so I could put a little Birkin on there.
Yeah, no.
What's the price point on this one?
Price point on this one is
I like how they're using the Batmobile wings on that one too. Someone really knows their catalog over at Lego who designed this.
Somebody's breaking it down.
I'm excited for the new Ninjago dragon as well.
Yeah.
The green one.
I will.
God, this thing is so
I will
amazing.
pull that up, but here is that video that I mentioned. Let me share this tab instead. So this is the video that I mentioned.
Oh, they used the non-friction. Yeah, that's the non-friction tool.
An old technique.
Yeah, everything's printed. No stickers.
Oh yeah, it's all printed. Look at that. She's gonna burn her house down. Did you see how close the candle is to the wall?
I like how there's one of our guests right there, Wiley Bricks. That's my Alpha Dragon.
Yeah, it's chibi. It's a chibi style. So yeah, you can see some people don't like that chibi style. I really dig it.
I think it looks good. They probably will come out with a new version of him as like an actual like crank method dragon, because I think that would be better.
It makes me think of like the different sizes of head wig that they did in Harry Potter, because there's different owl sizes that you can get.
You talking about this one?
Yeah, look at that thing.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be a special
power dragon
special presentation with this at Brickworld this year.
God, look at that thing.
That thing is beautiful.
That's a gorgeous.
Yeah,
that's
like
yeah,
I'm not one to go
dragon
for another set, but Ninjago's starting to hit on a lot of notes.
Ninjago has for a long time.
So what's interesting is it was 2 years or 3 years ago. Lego put out a statement saying that they were going to start to cross-pollinate designs across their themes more fully. Where there was if you looked at City and then you looked at Friends, there was a big disconnect between the style of building and kind of the complexity as well as the finishing details. And then you kind of saw that with Friends and Ninjago as well. There's a lot of different fit and polish differences, but this, to me, about 3 years later, says that some of that is starting to come through, where you can look at the fit and polish on this thing and go, yeah, someone really into character design and mech design went in there and really tuned this thing up, because it is super clean.
What's the GWPs this time? Oh, the Simpsons living room, and then of course Cooper's.
Yeah, because the crusty.
Look at that look at the pecs and the chest on that thing. That thing is posed.
Say it with your chest.
Big dragon.
Yeah, I'm excited. I believe the
I'm the Guardian Dragon.
And look at the bottom. A lot of that is just really, really more artistic and finished than you would have seen in Ninjago in the past.
I love the rock work.
Yeah, well, especially the rock work. You saw that with the temple build, right?
Like circular display bases.
The sense
I like the circular base like that. Yeah, like
that thing is epic.
Whatever it's called, the Statue of Liberty from No Way Home, the Avengers Endgame kind of one. They've been doing that circular base to make it easier to like display more.
A lot of the sets now are just coming out with their own like black base plate areas.
Yeah.
Well, they're learning. We're definitely learning. But yeah, the posability in that thing is off the charts. They're putting toe ball joints at every segment in that thing.
I can see this thing like coming out of a like volcano-esque design.
Can they just produce toe ball joints in different colors though? Like that's
it's one of those
I'm really asking for is just give me some mixel joints that aren't gray.
Hold on. Let me see if I can
I have a theory. My theory is the reason they do dark gray and light gray is because they're following the same mindset as Technic, where the color coding tells you the male, female. It gives you the design pattern. But I agree. They should start molding more colors of toe balls, but probably at the plant they're just doing light gray, dark gray just to get a jillion of them done. You know, at a scale, just to get the throughput that they need, because they use those everywhere.
Oh my god, that looks so cool. Sorry, I gotta pull this up.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
Oh, the next mech?
Sure.
Yeah,
Let's
that
see
would be sweet mech too.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I think I might actually get this just off the rip now.
Isn't that cool?
Dang it, this looks so cool.
Do you know where they got a lot of the design construction components off this thing from? Because I can tell you immediately.
No, go ahead and tell me. I'm very
Monkey Kid. It's a Monkey Kid mech. Just
okay. That's okay.
I'm telling you.
I wanted to say Monkey Kid, but I was like, nah, it'd sound really dumb if I
absolutely.
said that.
It's absolutely Monkey Kid.
Because Monkey Kid came out with some really good looking mechs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, but that's what I was talking about. They wanted some of the departments and the different themes to start working more closely together for cross collaboration and pollination of ideas and build techniques, and I'm starting to see that.
This is too cool.
Which is great because everybody benefits from that thing's just nuts too. Look at the cape on that thing.
That's what I said. I want the cape.
It's a pretty cool
Oh,
design.
man.
Okay, like
This might be my
Can we
first
love all
Ninjago
those
set.
capes?
This might be my
what's
first
that
Ninjago
piece
set.
like coming out of its neck? Is supposed to be, or out of its head?
Right here.
Yeah.
The swirl.
Mhm.
It's like a ribbon swirl, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like classic Japanese armor.
Okay.
Yeah, classic Japanese armor. That's like the helmet, but then there was like a strand or a ribbon that would fly out of the back.
Yeah,
end.
because
It's the wind blowing the ribbon across the way.
Exactly.
But the wind's blowing that way with his
It's
cape.
behind him. No, don't. No, it's going behind him. It's going against his
I
body,
like the.
blowing
I don't know what it is now, but I like the concept of this because this is a Ninjago Legends. Look at the box design.
yeah, so legend. Yeah.
Yeah, did you see the price point?
very D&D.
Very 120.
They're learning. They're crossing the stream.
120 for 1,000 pieces.
And then it comes
Okay.
with 120 for almost 1,000 pieces.
So is this can't be the flagship set? Which set is the
No.
flagship set?
There
Was it
is
the dragon?
I
so
think
there's
it's the dragon.
Yeah, that's the flagship set.
So these are the two new ones that just came out. We have the Fire Knight mech and the Guardian Dragon.
Ninjago just
Guardian Dragon
they
is awesome.
leveled up.
I mean,
I was
they did.
always hesitant on Ninjago until this wave. This wave is really selling me on it now.
Man, this is unfortunate.
Look at
though.
the Gundam style of that thing. Cole's is like a total Gundam.
But look at this though. It's $100 for 1,000 pieces. This one's pitching at 120 for that 996.
That's the
Yeah,
cape.
but one's got a cape and one doesn't, buddy.
That cape, I'm telling you, that's a $20 piece right there by
Yeah.
itself.
Well, here's the funny thing too. These two sets apparently include a exclusive poster that comes along with the set. So that's also an inclusion. Because
Yay,
hold on,
paper.
We're going
Where-
to put more artwork in this room. Crap.
where is it? Hold on. It says on.
I need more
the-
shelf space, not more artwork.
Bam! Right there, top right corner, exclusive poster inside.
Hey, don't dismiss all the hard work some graphic designers.
I
later
bet
had
you
to
it's
do to
this
put that
poster
together.
right here, though.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Which would still be cool.
It would still be cool. Man, I might be going to Ninjago for a minute.
What if that's just an AI generated photo based on the theme and you're not even getting that photo? That's just a teaser.
It would be terrible.
No, look at. I mean, this reads
Look
to
at
me.
the shoulders on that guy.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Like
reads
my-
to me like an anime mech, not like a Ninjago
Yeah.
mech, which is fantastic. It's got.
It's
that
like
whole-
almost like a samurai mech.
It reminds me
Yeah,
of Gundam
exactly,
Wing
exactly.
from like the early 2000s. I used to love that.
Yeah.
That
show.
guy, that mech does not skip leg day.
Oh no, that is
That is
ridiculous for
beefy.
like.
I mean, to hold a
love it.
weapon like that, you
Like right there, you go. This is the pose
Yeah,
that
there
we
you go.
needed.
There's the pose.
That's the Gundam pose, 100%.
Yeah, it's got the Gundam. It is totally a Gundam.
Pilot
I
down here at
really-
the bottom.
Man, those designers over there at Ninjago just went nuts and best.
Oh, these guys were definitely watching anime Gundam style shows for their childhood, and they decided, you know, what would be really cool if we just did this for a living. Genius. Looks beautiful though. I'll give them that.
Yeah, this wave of
Yeah,
Ninjago
roll.
is absolutely fantastic. If these are the ones coming out.
Oh, this can roll. Oh yeah, that's just.
Oh, by the way, if you're going to Brickworld, like teaser, Mark was talking about there's going to be a Ninjago component, possibly
Ooh.
from Lego.
Mhm.
Well,
Oh.
specifically, that dragon is going to be there on display, and I believe one of the designers is going to be there for it too.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Aren't they doing a thing? Like, isn't he doing a breakaway or something in one of the rooms? Or like
Mhm.
a
That
workshop or
dragon was
something?
pretty cool.
I'll have to check the schedule.
They got so many cool ones.
Yeah, the source dragon I need to hang from the ceiling.
There is
Like the rest of
a. If I go to shop, coming soon, and if I go to dragons,
I think the Death Star was also released for commentary, wasn't it?
are these?
Oh, I haven't
Oh,
seen
look at
any.
that! That fire
anything
chameleon's
for it.
pretty cool.
So this
Ooh,
is
I like
the
that.
this is the Dream
Dreams.
set. So I think Dreams is coming out with their sets.
Oh,
soon,
look.
in August.
Look
I
at the
love
blast.
it.
It's the same as It's that green. It's the
Oh, it's
the
right there.
version of the
Yeah,
It's a different color, yeah.
It was a dreams. It was a dreams component they used.
That's going
Is
to be
it
a
farting?
great fart element.
I was gonna say that's what I was just thinking. I realized where it's coming out. It's not. But
You know how
we
many
need
people are
that
going to
for
put that on the
bubble
tiger?
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
going to take that tiger with the flower. They're going to put that thing right
So I
on
call it poop power.
it.
Speaking of tigers and buttholes, I forgot the coolest thing about my Dragon car for this year.
Was
It
the
has a
Yeah,
butthole.
I include the butthole.
The
You
exhaust
also
pipe is a
include
pink
the tape?
flower.
Should I cut out of pink cardboard a little flower and then tape it to my son's butt when he starts walking around?
That would be great.
Slap a little pink pedal on his butt when he starts walking around his
Just
meows.
slide it under him when he gets ready to sit down, so he sits on it.
Yeah.
And he'll stand up and walk away, and it'll be
Not
great.
during public days, just the FOL day.
Just April.
Yeah, just the April days.
Maybe on a
Those are
Friday.
the fun
or
days
Does
something.
this
anyway.
come out? Oh, it's available now. Shit, I might be buying. Y'all, I might be buying this at the
It's
Lego.
really
You,
not
store.
that
you
bad
lost
of a
money,
price.
buddy. You just
Well,
lost
thank
money.
you, Schomburg.
You lost money.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Do you want to take it back on the plane? Will you have space?
Depending on how big that box is, maybe.
Are you
but-
bringing an extra suitcase?
I mean, if not, you can pick it up at his local one.
that, or I could just have y'all ship it over to me.
I mean, that's true too.
That
No,
was an
you can-
option that you did provide me with.
Yep, we have a trailer, so we can definitely load
I'm
all your Lego
still
purchase
probably
stuff.
gonna get the gumball machine over those Ninjago sets. Yeah. Because
Yeah, it's gonna
seriously,
be a
I
tough
only
one.
have enough room to buy 1 or 2 sets a year, and
It's a
think I
tough
just
battle
gotta-
nowadays.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
well, they
as far as
constantly
that
release
goes.
stuff just in waves and waves and waves.
So many sets.
I need.
Well, they
Lego.
have to
I
figure
think-
out a
I
way
think
to make
the
it so
chat-
not everybody has them.
You guys should come up with like the most unusual Lego Masters question for me to try to answer that, like a real stumper, like a really weird one, because I've heard a couple weird ones in the past.
Oh,
What
there you
does
go,
Will
Brick Nite.
Arnett
That's your
smell like?
that's your job.
I was gonna say, what was the off camera? I don't know. I
What off-camera stuff?
What's something you wish you would have said to the Brickmasters and or Will Arnett while you were there that you did not, or a missed opportunity? I don't know about
I'm
that.
proud to say I didn't. So I managed to do that. Well, the Brickmasters are a different subject. Let's put that aside. So Will, you interact with Will. That's kind of part of the job. I wanted to do a Will Arnett impression of Will Arnett. I got that out of the way. He said I was pretty good.
that I gotta.
I got him to drop the F-bomb every time he did an interview, so I got that under my hat. Did that. Check that. Every time, I don't know why, but he would go really. He would always go. So his funniest stuff, and this happened every time we interviewed, was that he would go into a topic that could not be aired for television, for family-friendly television. So, like I talked about, like even in the first introduction, you know, it's like, oh, Moto, how long have you been doing this? So, well, I built Lego when I was young, and then I had Dark Ages, and then I came back as an adult with my son. He goes, Dark Ages? What's that? What's a Dark Age? And I said, it's just the period in your life when you're not building Lego between a child and an adult. He said, oh, I've never had a dark age. I've had dark times. And then he went on this rant for about 3 minutes about all the horrible things that he's done in his life. Because he's had a hard time,
He's Batman.
going through things, recovering through things. Yeah. But he got real personal and honest, but it was hilarious. But I was like, I was just kind of like nodding at one point, like I don't think they're going to be able to use this for Lego Masters. Like, this is really dark stuff. If only he just snapped out of it and dropped one of his F-bombs and then reset and kept going. But for Will, I kind of did I got my checklist of stuff out of the way. The Amy and Jamie, you're not supposed to interact with them because they're judges. So one of the things people don't recognize fully is because there's $100,000 award, and it's essentially a game show. There are federal laws around how you have to run a game show because of the $100,000 pyramid. Remember, Congress got involved and all those federal regs came down. So if Hollywood hates something, it's federal laws getting nailed by a federal law, having to pay a big fine because they hate paying money. So, we're briefed in that you do not just converse with Amy and Jamie. They are there to judge you. They are official judges. You stay away from them. You don't just go up and chat to them. So, one of the disappointing things is that you are air gapped from getting to know Amy and Jamie other than their official capacity of giving you feedback as a judge.
Yeah.
So I would love to get to know them, or just have a conversation with them that's not like them smacking you down for having bad colors, or we don't think that's going to survive the shake table, or something very official where they're judging you. You're gonna have to play that graphic again. I gotta get another drink of water.
Oh,
man, Colorado's dry air.
Yeah.
Wait for it.
Help.
So that is a disappointment. I would have liked to have talked to Amy and Jamie. Someday I'm going to go to Billund and hopefully I can talk to them. Maybe they'll let me visit, or if they're there.
Right.
As long as it doesn't jeopardize me going back on the show for a holiday spectacular. I really hope I get.
Oh yeah, valid. Because if you end up talking with them outside of the show, then that may
that could disqualify you from or if they do an all-star season at some point. So because of that air gap, I kind of try to not. I mean, I sent them a personal thank you type of gift. They got a gift one year, by the way. They were one of.
Right.
When that Adam Savage unboxes, they got that gift. And I've never heard from them. I don't want to hear from them. I don't want to know where it is. I don't want to know what they did with it, just because I want to keep that relationship air gap in case I want to compete again. Do you think the winners from each season would have won if paired with other partners? No, because a lot of LEGO Masters is not just skill, it is straight up luck. Especially the destructive stuff that we go through. If the person setting the explosives puts the charge 5 more millimeters to the left or right, you get a different effect. That could be more amazing. We've seen in the last episode that aired yesterday, if Will sets something down a certain way, it can slide a certain way, it can destroy a certain way. The orientation matters when you're building. Like our season was just technical challenge after technical challenge after technical challenge. I mean, it was just hammering, stuff getting broken or exploding or failing to achieve some sort of effect. Yeah, you change a partner. I mean, yeah, I would have had a totally different experience with a different partner as well. Pars and I, by the way, were paired up at the very last minute. And I mean, last day type of thing. Because the guy my original teammate couldn't continue on to the show. And that would have been a totally different experience because I had been with him all the way to the end. And he's now a Lego set designer. So life worked out well for him. But yeah, being paired with a different person for me would have been a totally different outcome. Who knows? But yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, you can change one little factor in any given challenge and it can go left or right, or you can have a different idea, or half the time you're so exhausted you can't think. So trying to come up with a good story idea, I don't know how some of the teams did it.
That's always my thing when watching the show. It's, okay, you got builders, you have this many hours to start. And it's like, yeah, but at home, I take several days to think of an idea sometimes. And then sure, executing it only takes me a few hours, but I spent 3 days in my head figuring it.
Well, also try to only sleep for 4 to 6 hours for 6 days a week, and then put yourself on a clock and try coming out and being creative with the lack of sleep and everything too, and the COVID protocols we had, the swabs and the face masks and all the things made our production days longer. I've heard they've really tuned it down now, which is great for the later seasons, but ours were incredibly long shooting days because of all the COVID protocol stuff we had to do. And I'm doing this because there was a plastic face guard along with the mask. There was multi-layers of things going on and stuff, but man, by the way, that's another thing with Brick Dad. Man, I do not envy Amy and Jamie. That is the toughest job. Building's difficult, but judging. There's a couple ones like my episode where I got kicked out. It was pretty obvious. Like we had to go. I mean, that was probably an easy decision. Not a lot of deliberation there, unless you're talking about the winners, which Natalie, Michelle, everybody agrees they were going to win. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to know their opinions because being on TV is cool, but they're working. They're working. They're always there. They're always looking. They are ever present, and they know exactly what's happening at every table.
Crazy.
Dang.
I always like from our perspective when they air it and they'll come up to the table and they'll say something to like redirect the builders to what they're trying to actually have them build. Like, make sure you can, accentuate your story to us. And it's like, do you actually feel that same way when you're there doing it? Or is it because we are seeing the other perspective on the camera, the edited version, that we pick up on those cues that they're like, hey, you need to do this. Whereas in the actual show, when it's happening and you're filming, you didn't hear the change to the rule yet or the very specific detail that they emphasized when it was on air.
Yeah, like the camera's pointing at that detail, but you're over here like trying to combine 30 pieces. You're not really thinking about whether you can't focus on what they're saying.
Yeah, when they come over, so that is one thing, is the interviews do take time basically off the clock. So whatever they show on the clock, you subtract an hour and a half for Will and for the judges. Just mentally subtract it. Because if you think about it, there's 3 cameras, so they occupy one entire half. That side of the table is inaccessible. Right? So you have to move to the other side of the table. Where some of these challenges we're building using the entire table. And then it's like, oh, Amy and Jamie are coming. You guys got to move to that side and do the interview because the cameras are coming around. So, I mean, some people, with some things you can keep building. With Amy and Jamie, I didn't want to build because I'm one of these guys that when I'm focused on one thing, because, I'm neurospicy. So if I am not paying attention to them, I'm not going to incorporate their feedback. And if you don't incorporate their feedback, that usually things go very badly for you if you don't listen to the judges.
I've noticed on the episode, if they didn't incorporate what the judges said, usually they're voted off that episode.
Or the judges say, I don't think that's going to work, and then it doesn't work. And what's that Pikachu meme? I mean, it's just like that Pikachu meme, right? It's like, I don't think you should do that thing, and then does the thing, and then Pikachu's all surprised, like, what? It broke?
What? No way.
But no, I mean, Brickland's no different. In Australia, the judges from around the world are all the same way. They're trying to give their best advice. For me, usually their feedback was dead. It was dead on, so I accepted it. Yeah, it was always dead on. The one time we didn't do what they said, the bad thing happened. I told my partner the bad thing's going to happen. He said we'll be fine, and then the bad thing happened. If they give you a compliment, then I was like, I can be eliminated. Amy in color theory, so I'm set for life at that point. And Jamie, he's kind of the technical guy that I would look up for. Is this technically going to work? And if he said, I'm really worried about this, that, and the other. And man, he can cut you with a couple words. I mean, we got flamed. They didn't get on camera, but Jamie flamed us hard one time. And it was not a good look, and it was embarrassing. It was the Shake Tower Challenge where, I was responsible for working the core. I was working the core, and Paris was building the sides of it, but I kept telling him, So I did agile development. I was looking at the clock. I was looking at his progress. So if a sixth of the time is done, he's got to at least be a sixth of the way up. Pretty basic math. I was like, do you need help? Like, I'm really worried you're going to have to change techniques. You need to stop because whatever you're building up is not going fast enough. And we're not going to make it to the top. And sure enough, last minute, we just stuck base plates to the top of the structure with 2 studs. Like, wow. So as we're pushing the build into the gallery, these base plates are blowing in the wind. And we get it in there with like 3 seconds left, I think. People were counting out 10, 9, 8. We're the one rolling the table in. 5, 4, 3 crosses the line. Hands off at 2 and 1. Horrible look. Worst aesthetic thing we've ever slapped together. Disgusting. Parse and I turn around. We just start walking as fast as we can toward the doors to get off the stage. And we just hear this, "Hey!" And we turn around. Jamie's standing there in the gallery. He goes, "Base plates, really, guys? Seriously, base plates? Really?" That's brutal. When you get that feedback from the judge. No, it was pretty much like, I was like, if we don't make the Richter scale of 11, we're dead. Like, if we don't shake to 11 and get in the top 2 or top 3 teams, we're toast. We're aesthetically toast. Because they were like, we would have gone home.
I mean, they were gonna knock you for an incomplete model. You didn't. So it's like, do I put something
we finished it to stay alive, and luckily we stayed alive just because we had one of the top 2 shakes.
Yeah.
We went to 11. Coletta went to 11. I was like, Coletta's going to win. They're going to put us in the front circle. Just smile. Don't get the award. Just smile. We survived to get off that stage again before Jamie kills us.
Jesus. Nope.
It's a lot of stress. So I tell people, look, the show is absolutely amazing unless you're building. Every aspect of that show is absolutely incredible until you're building and you're under the clock, in which case it's one of the most stressful things I've gone through.
I think that was the thing that I remember talking about with someone at this was at Brickworld Atlanta or Atlanta BrickCon.
Atlanta BrickCon, yeah.
Yeah, and I was talking to them about because I spat out
a Marcus Steven or someone like that, or
I can't remember who I was talking to, but they had mentioned that is it true that they had a psych team on site to deal with like afterwards, or is that like I don't know, is that like frowned upon?
No, they don't have a psych team on site. Okay. Yes, they do take care of you psychologically afterwards because they have to.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because I would hate to be that person, like I don't know, either leaving the show early or just like getting through all those days of having to stress build and then not having to talk to someone about it.
And luckily, I think Lego Masters is one of the more it's one of the great productions to be on, because I mean, a lot of reality TV, it's all about the drama and the conflict, and then you get kicked off, and some of these contestants are just miserable afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely
miserable. The experience makes their lives worse. At least with Lego Masters, you're coming back into a Lego community that's pretty cool,
it's pretty open,
and fun. Yeah, even if you bomb out, at least you're on the. I looked at it as at least I was on the show. That's all I cared about. Is like
I say, if you made it to the show, that's enough of a challenge on its own.
Yeah, it was enough of a check in my box, to say I did it. I was doing it for the adventure. Some people aren't like that. They'll never. People from my season, they've just flat out said, I'll never do it again. Even if they asked me to come back, I would never do it again. It was horrible. But, my perspective on it was, well, number one, I was very fortunate. One is I didn't go in thinking I was going to be in the final 3 going to win. The odds are just against you at that point, right? There's only one team that can win out of 12. 1 in 12 is not a great D12 roll. Got to get a nat 12 to win.
Yeah.
Just if everybody's and they were all great builders on season 2. It's pretty level playing field. There wasn't like one team that's going to dominate pretty hard. The second great thing that happened was I knew I was going to get eliminated. I had the foresight of us knowing, and on our challenge, we failed so hard we knew we were going home. Now, my partner didn't think so. I knew in my heart. So everything gets done. They take you off the stage. They're going to do their deliberations of judging. I got to go around the green room and say goodbye to everybody. Because I had the knowledge that we were toast. I mean, straight up, we're dead. DOA, right, just we're going to get cut. So I could say goodbye to everybody and then think about, like, what do I want my message to be? Because we're not going to be, no one's going to remember us, right? We're only a third of the way through the season, not very memorable. Do I at least go out and say something amazing and something positive to get these guys who are going to continue to keep going? So that was a great benefit. And then, yeah, you have a bunch of stuff that they don't want you to talk about as far as your offboarding process, but they get you on a plane, like, and you're out of there. But no, I think I was pretty healthy about it. I was just physically exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those
That
are
was the
long
big
days.
But I also think, I don't build, like, I wasn't building for the show. I build for myself. I like to build for myself. And I'm kind of crazy like that. I think it's kind of a healthy perspective to have on life is, I always get after the post Brickworld, they call it the butthurt tweets. You always get the butthurt hot takes of why they didn't get an award that year and they deserved an award and they didn't get the recognition or really, the disappointment. I'm like, guys, if your reason for building is to get the award, you kind of got to shift your focus more and build for yourself and make cool things that you want to show people. And for
build
me, it's
for
a lot
your community, not for a trophy.
Yeah, or I get a lot of people that come up and they really like the stuff I've built. I think that's cool, and we can talk about the technique or how I did it or why there's no instructions for this stuff because it's too complicated to put in a studio or whatever. I am with permission, so I always ask people if I can hug them if I know them.
This is a very important thing to ask.
No,
I'm a hugger too. I'm like, hug me, brother.
What's really cool is if you go through social media, so you can do this. This is a challenge I give to you. If you look up Dandelion or Sir Meows a lot, any of the pictures with the public, you're going to notice that there's Keanu hover hands in every single one. So I don't ever touch the public when I'm doing a selfie with them. If it's an AFOL I know really well, then yeah, sometimes I'll put the mitten on the shoulder. But no, I'm always putting the hand to the side, and it's always not touching, or I'll do rabbit ears or something fun like that. But yeah, I don't touch people without permission because that's basic cosplay 101 type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it'll be fun. We'll just do the Keanu hug whenever I meet you.
No. If I know you and you say, "Oh, we met on this, that, and the other," it's like, "Would you like a hug?" Yeah, I hug everybody. I'm great. I hear I'm an okay hugger.
I could go ahead and do the Demolition Man handshake, just like high five and then just like wave around in a circle. Greetings and salutations, friend.
Genotron's Bricks, you know that you register for space, right? They'll give you a spot at Brickworld if you register early enough for Chicago. You just got to register your space and your mock. They always find a way.
Tell them you want to go.
We have over 700 displays this year.
How many? I didn't hear how many?
700 display requests this year.
Yeah, I heard it's really crowded. It's getting more crowded every year.
So we're the main hall that we have. You know how last year we extended the interactive area to a separate room, so there was like a little bit more area.
Yep.
Well, that is actually expanding now all the way through the ballroom side to incorporate more builds and more activities because we're out of space.
Yeah, completely out of space. And I asked Mark on Friday about that as well. I said, "Are you going to have to find a new venue?" And he's just talking about how the logistics of it are just they're really tough.
Yeah, they've spent quite a bit of time this last month to finalize and get everything ready to go for next week. So
Yeah,
Exciting.
25,000 square feet. Jesus.
That's gonna be a lot.
We're here to have a good time.
And this is
Can
my
you
first
imagine
time.
if can you imagine if Neo Atlanta actually showed up this year? You would have had to account for that monster too.
This will be my
We'd really
first
be hurting.
time. I can't wait.
First timer.
Oh, Brick Nite
Yeah.
Bell's got a Moto hug. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind. No, if I don't know the public, I'm not gonna, cosplay is not consent is my sense. But if there's an AFOL and they know me and I also don't have interactions. People are always like, oh, that was a great interaction. It's like, guys, I don't interact with people. I have a conversation. I don't interact. I converse. Okay? I'm not here to interact. Like, interaction sounds like it's a tag your it sort of game where I've got my brick separator and I give you a little nooge and you're like happy for the rest of your life, or like I don't have interactions. I have conversations with people. That's just the way I approach things.
Let's have a chat.
Yeah, I'm also not a social media influencer because I'm not here to influence you in any way. I'm here to
You're here to
if you have
educate.
questions about something, or you want a build that you want me to look at, or get an idea on a technique, or you just want to hang on and talk about a cool set, or you want to wonder how Sir Meowslot's eyes are constructed or something like that, then let's talk about random stuff. Or you want to talk Star Wars? Oh,
I think
okay. So yes, I do have I have news. I'm glad I don't have to self-promoting my stuff. He's just setting. It's like T-ball, man. He's just setting it up there. Yeah. I don't have interactions. I have interrogations. That's my new stance. I'm just going to interrogate people like the police.
What is your favorite build?
Are you here
How
for
long
work
did it
and
take you to build
pleasure?
this?
How long are you planning on staying at this convention?
I just want to see one aggressive question come from you, Moto.
Question, no. So I ran out of convention trading cards. I've designed a new card, and I have completely new cards printed, about 500 of them ready to go for Chicago this year.
Yay.
And I don't mean I restyled it. I straight up redrew my entire fig. So it's now got the beard, entirely new fig face, entirely new drafting element, front element. I probably should have taken TikTok and some other social media stuff off that I no longer do very much, but I did swipe my YouTube channel from Lego to the Moto Meows Adventures. So entirely new trading card coming at your 2025 trading card. And it's on new card stock that will accept a Sharpie a lot better. So you don't have to worry about me signing it and having to let it dry for 4 hours with that shiny coat.
Don't worry, Jake.
There's no
I'll
more
get
gloss
one for
hit.
you.
They've done a cardboard stock that works really well with markers, so my autograph will be more visible on these cards as well.
Oh crap! I need to build sig figs for myself. Crap.
You got a few days.
Yep, you got a few days to put it together. Good luck.
I've got my stickers. I've got my trading cards. I've ordered more of these from my provider.
Very nice.
If they don't show up in time, I'm going to be really worried because then I won't have enough tokens. But somehow I just make it work. I've got my letterhead, so you guys have never gotten. No, I only give out I was going to say you guys haven't gotten hit with the personalized note.
Yeah,
A letter? We got a letter.
Yeah, I have a personalized letter with the
With
letterhead.
your on the top.
Was that the year before you got the?
No,
No, it was the same year.
Okay.
It came with the box, I believe, tucked in the strap.
Yep.
Yeah, not the one that's tucked in. No, everybody. Yeah. Brick Nite Belts has one of the OG 2x2s without the. He's got the one that's like that. And if you're a classic space builder, you have to let me know, because there was only 10 of the logo put on light bluish gray.
Oh.
And those I reserve for classic space mock builders on their displays.
Oh.
They get the super elite level Moto logo token.
Space.
That is
Ships. Close to the heart.
Space. Jake, you've been pretty quiet, man. Is there anything on your mind, or?
I have a feeling he's watching the game.
No, you're just doing a
vibe.
vibe.
Hours ago.
Yeah. Ken's
I was
staring
trying
at the
to-
studio because I can see the reflection in his glasses.
I had a question
I'm-
before, but now it's
I'm
in my mind.
multitasking. I'm multitasking,
No.
listening to everything, and then just conversing.
No, you're multi-slacking. You're blowing off multiple things at once.
I know. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
How
That's
do you?
what I
you
do.
know
I just
me-
blow off multiple things at once.
You know
I
me
don't
too
do
well. I'm gonna be using that now. Multi-slacking.
Multi-slacking. Just
Yep.
ignoring multiple
I
things. that you're
remember
supposed to
my
do.
question. My question is, if you got to choose somebody to go on the Winter Bricktacular with, which celebrity would you choose?
Adam Savage from MythBusters. It'll never happen.
That would be
Oh,
amazing.
that would be pretty amazing, though.
That would be a great combo.
Well, so you guys know I'm a MythBusters fan. Do you guys know the story of the set I sent to him and he unboxed on Tested YouTube?
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Let me put the link in the private chat. Lego. Be the last thing. So if you wouldn't mind, if you have the permissions to put that link out there in the chat. So one year I made an epic gift and I made 5 copies of it. It was insane. It was a Chrysalis 2 spaceship. So I sent one to Adam Savage because the reason I went into engineering and art and a lot of this stuff was watching Mythbusters. And Tested is his YouTube channel, and I put it together. I sent an email to whatever email address they have posted in case you want to give them a heads up that you're shipping something large or whatever. And, I sent an email. I said, hi, my name's Moto. I'm a contestant Lego Master Season 2. I've made, I've got a gift for Adam, and just want to make sure you intercept in it. I think it'd make a great unboxing if you're willing to do that, whatever, if you know my work. Well, he filmed himself doing the unboxing of that set that I gave to him. It's crazy. So that's the link to it.
Wow.
And he really enjoyed it. So that's why I have a connection with Adam Savage and the Lego connection. I would love to just, even though he can't build with a damn, I don't care. He's a fan of Lego. He's had some Lego stuff on his channel. But having Adam freaking Savage, I paid money to get Adam Savage to autograph my stuff.
Dude, that's a big package. Sorry, I gotta put this up here.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was just pulling it up too. I didn't know you were gonna do it.
Yeah, so you guys are going to notice the gift has gotten considerably smaller because I'm able to give out a lot more now. But that year, and I can't financially do this again, that one wrecked me.
So we'll play
Each
this.
one of those was about $400 a pop, and I did 5 of them.
Good lord.
So I didn't buy I really didn't buy almost anything else that year. It was pretty much, that was it.
So we'll do this
Yeah,
video, and then we can close.
Yeah, after we're done with the live stream, please go out, check out the Adam Savage unboxing. Yeah, it happened 3 years ago, and I wound up meeting Adam Savage. I paid to get his autograph in line and get a selfie with him, but I learned that he does still have it. He hasn't, it hasn't gone away. It's probably in storage. It's not in his main area, but he still does have that set. It is not yet built. It's, awaiting that to be done. But Adam has kept it, and he's not joking around. They just let it. It's like a Lego Masters thing. They just let the camera roll as he unboxes this thing I put together. But it's going to be like an extra version of what you guys went through.
That's amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to watch this.
That Chrysalis spaceship was, it's over 1,000 parts. It's I can't remember. It says something on the cover when he unboxes it, but
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, to pretty much close out, Moto, where can everyone find you?
I would start with Instagram, moto.lego. If you start there, you just scroll through. You don't even have to click on anything. You just scroll, and it's all in the profile there. All my major stuff that I've built. if you're sick of that and you want to go deeper into the technical side and you want to zoom in and see all the crazy angles of everything and how it's constructed, I'm on Flickr.
Okay.
I only do TikTok to comment. I haven't posted videos on there in like a million years. And then the Moto Meow Adventures, a YouTube thing, is my rock hounding stuff. And then if you get to be a good enough friend, you can find me on Facebook, where you can learn about my everyday life adventures. And that's when you know you've gotten really close, because then you learn my real name.
No.
Which is terrifying.
No.
It's like,
no.
it's like now we get to know.
Oh, no.
Little Missy.
But yeah, that's where you can find me. I would just say Instagram's the major one. Although I get a lot more interactions on Facebook these days. I seem to be a Facebook superhero, but I kind of reserve that for true FL friends. Because I mean, you get access to my son, and you see my house and backyard things, which isn't cool if you're just randomly posting on the internet.
Yeah, don't you be posting nothing about Moto. I learned about that the hard way when I posted a Tiki-Taki, because I found him at Brickworld. Actually, I didn't find him. I found the trailer, the U-Haul that they were there. And I was like, oh, Moto's here.
Yeah, she said Moto's here. And then she shoots the U-Haul in the parking lot. And every U-Haul is that very distinct, unique, like from that same pattern. I'm surprised you didn't put the license plate. And I was like,
I did not put the license plate in it. I did be sure to cut that out. But my brain said there's like 5 other U-Haul trailers here.
But they all have different sides to them. That's the whole U-Haul thing. Yep.
I learned a lesson.
And there was that was the entire lugs haul. So if someone broke in there, they would have had like 30, 40 grand worth of brick. A lot of brick in there. Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't. Okay, I go.
Anyway, thank you guys for having me on. No one ever asks, which is why I usually don't show up in many places. But thanks for having me on and letting me chat so much. I feel like we didn't go off the rails. I kind of wish we did, but
and that's surprising because we usually do.
Yeah, that's what surprised me as I was getting ready for the whole.
Jake and I were sitting there. We're like, oh my God, we actually didn't go off the rails this time. This is impressive.
No, I must have had the calming, soothing effect. I didn't have to go Captain America, for language, which is always a good thing.
So what you're saying is we need to have you back again.
Yeah.
I'll come back again, if you invite me. It's just really late for me. Yeah, but you guys gave me a whole month to prep and be ready and reserve the night and have it all set up. And yeah, it's fun to chat. Or if you want to have another person on with me to get all you need you need an instigator like Mel Brown or somebody to offset my chilling nature. You need someone with more of the spicy stuff.
The button pusher.
Yeah, I never push buttons. I'm always trying to keep it very professional and very clean because I want to get invited back for a holiday special or something at some point. And social media, there is a social media audit when you're applying for Lego Masters. They go through and if you're putting a lot of unsavory, not family friendly stuff in there, that'll zing you. That'll ding you out of the race. Don't want to give them an excuse.
That is definitely something that we do. We do holiday specials.
Well, you're what I want to say is you are doing it comedically because you're not malevolent, right? It's all done with a good-natured heart and spirit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the key, is if you're out there just being there's that 0.5% of the AFL community. There's that 1 out of 200 people that's just you shouldn't be in this community. This isn't for you.
You should be vouching for the community. Not that you shouldn't be in it, because everybody's welcome. You just shouldn't be allowed to vouch for the community.
No, just there's a couple of people that are just they want to watch the world burn, and they think that that's that's going to grab attention. That's the way you get headlines, and that's not me. As you can tell, you can tell my perspective is very much the hey, have fun, do what you like to do. That's cool.
Woosah.
Exactly.
The only thing I can't stand is when people are doing studio work when they should be paying attention to a live stream. You know,
I got you.
Those guys are just.
I got him.
Get him out of there.
I got the host to leave. My goodness, that hardly ever happens.
I know. I was multi-slacking. I'm doing.
Multi-slacking.
I was building,
Yeah, that's a new
listening
one.
I was building, listening to conversation, and then flipping around on Lego.com because, of course, I'm going to be the one to share all my screens.
Yeah. So Jake, I hope to meet you someday. I know you're not going to Chicago.
Yeah, sadly.
But if you ever come out to the Denver convention or if you go to the Utah convention, those are the other two I go to.
Is it the Denver one during baseball season? Because
It's in April. Is that too early? It's in
No, it is
mid-April.
it is not. That's good to know. I'm trying to go to all
Probably-
30 baseball stadiums. So I
Jeebus.
plan my
So I
trips
think-
to travel around.
You know what? I
that.
think there was a Rockies game right before the public. I think some people went to a Rockies game while they were here, but maybe not. Maybe I made that up. Anyway, come on out. Denver's a great city. You might like it. I like it. I live here though. I'm acclimated to altitude.
Right?
And then yeah, I'll see Supa and Hawk and Ken. I'll hope to see you as
Ken
well.
Nerd.
6 more
And Brick
days.
Dead Builds.
Oh
Brick
yeah,
Dead
I'll be at Brickworld Chicago. This will be my first time ever being in Chicago and going to Brickworld. So, win-win.
Yeah.
Have you been warned? Have you been warned? Have you been
I've been
I did.
warned, and then they've got birthday plans for me upstairs. So we're about to see what
Yeah.
happens.
Thursday is this guy's birthday, so we're gonna go.
I'll be there
putt-putt.
Thursday. Is there anything you want? Okay, you guys already have stuff planned. Because I was going to say I'll have a vehicle and I could probably give rides at that point.
I say nothing too major planned, but we are planning to go miniature golf
Ding.
team for the evening.
Yeah,
go
once I get to
mini-
the convention off by 7, pretty much we're going to lock ourselves in starting Thursday around 12. But we should be there Wednesday afternoons and then Thursday mornings if anybody needs rides or whatnot.
Yeah.
Last year I gave London Bridge Bricks and some European folks a tour of Chicago. They wanted we were at their ride. We just showed up and did stuff like that.
Nice. We Ken drove to Brick Fair, and then we were driving around trying to see stuff, but and we went to a game.
I haven't made it. That's the one convention. I missed Seattle. I've missed Brick Fair VA. I still got to get to those two. Those are two big conventions in the US I haven't been to. And then I really want to go to the Lego House sometime, and maybe bookend a Scareback outing.
That'd be pretty cool.
But I'm waiting to retire first. I want to be retired when I do that.
Nice. But no, we definitely appreciate you being on here. We definitely appreciate the Hawks for recommending you as one of our guests, which we were super excited to have you on here. And then this is the last thing I'll do before Jay gets to run that end stream cycle. Okay, folks. Well, it is that time where we're going to go ahead and end this podcast. Good bless. It's over 2 hours. It's okay, though. We love all the minutes and all the time. And we had a fantastic chat, including our interviewer, Brick Dad Builds, in the chat, which we were very grateful for him. So, round of applause for that gentleman there. But, folks, if you enjoyed tonight's episode and you are wanting to see more, we will definitely be live next Tuesday again. Mohawk, myself, as well as Super Cabre, or at least the Mohawks. We will be in Chicago Tuesday evening, and Jake will be over in where he's at. Hosting the lives. We'll be on site. We'll be on site for that day. But please join us next week, Tuesday. We're going to be live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like the content, please go to our Spotify as well as our Apple Podcast. We are there at Brick at Night on ELPN. And then, of course, check out our Instagram where it's at Brick at Night, where the E is a 3. And then on TikTok, we are at Brick at Night. If you enjoyed the content, please support the creators behind this page. You have the Unhappy Mohawk, at Super Cabre, at brick.it.jake, and then, of course, myself at ken.nerd, where the E's are 3s again. But without further ado, Jake, I'll let you close us out. And we will see y'all next week.
From all of us here at Brick Nite, catch you guys next week in Chicago. -1.